Seems like you got a pretty grueling tour schedule ahead of you guys this year. What's planned for 2013 tour-wise?
So we just started our first album tour run, and that's just kicked off. And we just started going from, I think we did Adelaide last night, then we drove today, we're doing Melbourne, we're going back to Adelaide, and then we go drive over to WA, play Perth, and about 4 or 5 days over there, and then back to Sydney, and then we're off to the States doing our first set of shows over there, so South by Southwest, and we're doing some showcases in LA, New York, and over to Canada as well, doing Canadian Music Week. And so yeah, I think when we come back after that, we do a couple of shows in around May. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty big year already. So I think then we start kicking into the new album. So start working for the new album.
So when you're in the States, it's a pretty big thing for you guys. What do you hope to achieve from your tour over there?
We've never been over there, so we don't really know what to expect. And I guess what everybody ever been wants. Eventually we want to be a band that's in between countries, So we'd love to get an album release deal over there, and get the record out over in the States, and and get people start talking about Strangers, So we've always wanted to be a worldwide band. We never really wanted to be just a local band, and just go from there. And yeah, I'm really tired of some of these questions. They're just still trying to just sink in.
So I read somewhere that your album was pitched internationally. Has it been released anywhere else apart from Australia yet?
It hasn't been released over there yet, but that's why we're doing South by Southwest. We got accepted to go onto that bill, and from that we got asked to do Canadian Music Week as well. So while we're there, we're going to set up some showcases and things like that. We've got a team over there that's looking after us on the ground, publicity-wise, and getting the album around to people and getting labels interested and all that sort of stuff. So, that's the whole idea of going over in March, is to try and get the record released.
Have you had any response from any people overseas yet? Listened to the album, checked you out, dropped by your Facebook page, or?
Yeah, we've had a few people come on the Facebook page, like American fans, and they've come over, and especially Europe as well. A lot of European people come over and said that they're really digging the album and how they want to get their hands on it overseas. So when it comes to labels and things like that, I don't think we'll ever really hear much about that. I think the management and label, they kind of keep that sort of thing to themselves, and until it all starts falling into place, which is good. You don't really count your chickens before they hatch.
As a band, it seems like sort of every day you keep gaining more traction. How does it feel like for you at the moment? Does it feel like every day is just growing and growing, or?
Yeah, the shows are getting to a point where so many people coming in and responding to the band and singing along, and that's why you originally joined a band, to get that sort of connection to the crowd. And when people start responding to your record, you feel really humbled, and it's just one of those childhood kind of dreams, I've always really wanted that. And when it starts falling into place, and when your band's together on a level and you're on stage and it's all firing and the room's alight, nothing really beats that kind of feeling,
A little while ago on Facebook, I noticed one of you must have posted something from David Acker from the LA Times.
Yeah.
What prompted that post, or?
I think our drummer found it and he sent it over to me, and that's pretty much how myself as a singer and as the band, that's the reason why we play music, and that's their words. I actually sent the emails over to my dad, and I was like, these are some words to remember me by if I ever drop down or some shit. And I was like, remember me, these are the words, read this out at my funeral or something like that. But they were just such excellent words. Nothing else needed to be said. People ask why you want to be in a band and why you want to be a musician or an artist. That whole thing, I was just like, that's it. That's exactly why I want to be an artist,
So apart from seeing you guys on stage, sort of the back end of the band, it's pretty tough for you guys at the moment. Like, is sort of nutting it out pretty hard, or like?
Yeah, we are. Like, in what retrospect?
I suppose you'd say, like the hours you're putting in, sort of balancing maybe 9 to 5 jobs in between, or anything like that.
We've always, since we committed to doing the first record together, we really wanted to. Massive tram. Yeah, so when we first got together, when we wanted to do the first record, we made a commitment there and then that the band was always going to be full time, and everything else kind of fell to the wayside. And everything else was casual, and the band was full time. And I mean, that's the hours we do. I mean, we do Monday to Friday is band, you know. And yeah, we have to work to try and save to go away and do all that sort of stuff. But they're all means to an end jobs, and yeah, we kind of put that as our first priority in life. And when you do that, you kind of start to see all your focus and energy, you 5 people going into, you know, one thing. You start to see some turnaround on that, you know. So.
And you mentioned that later on in the year we might see some new stuff from Strangers.
Yeah, we'll probably start recording around September or August maybe for the new record, and then probably a new single around October. So yeah, I mean we've already written quite a few songs already for the new record, and yeah, so we're all really excited about that. I mean, we're that sort of band. We never really wanted to be a flash in the band sort of band. You know, we never really wanted to be like one record and see you later. We've always wanted to be in it for 5 records, and we'll stick around.
Do you think after your debut album you're going to settle into your sound now, or do you think you're going to try and push the boundaries more creatively?
Well, you know, the first one you always learn a lot, especially when you're never really been in that situation, recording a record professionally before. And, you know, when we started off, it was kind of like we had these ideas of songs and things like that. But you know, now we really know what sort of sound we want. I mean, we really want a really live feel on the next record, and we want to get that really big live feeling that when people come and watch our band, they seem to grasp and they seem to connect to. So I mean, the next one is definitely going to be a lot more live feeling. And I guess that, you know, the direction of it is a little bit more on the rock and roll side, I guess. But at the same time, you know, you take songs into the studio and they warp and they mold into a completely different thing that you were kind of going for. That you end up grabbing onto and go, oh, actually, that's a way better way to have that song, or that's a way for it to come out. So, you know, time will tell with that. You know.
It seems like a lot of Australian media sort of pigeonhole a lot of rock bands, especially Australian ones, into sort of the same category. Does it annoy you, some of the comparisons you get to bands that really you don't sound too alike with?
It doesn't annoy me. I mean, I guess it humbles me a lot. I mean, a lot of the bands we get mentioned that we sound like, we do sound nothing alike. You know, we are strangers, and I don't think anybody can really pigeonhole that band. You know? And we sit in this sort of our own little area. And we get sometimes like compared to Carnival or Birds of Tokyo, and we've had Gyroscope, we've had Children Collide, but we always end up just going, we don't say anything like those bands. A lot of people will agree, like they'll go, oh, it's not really anything like that band. Like, you know, hardcore Strangers fans who come to shows all the time. I mean, we're just trying to, I guess that's what we want to carve our own path, and I think that's what the main thing is. When you want to be a rock band in Australia, you've got to kind of walk away from the group, you know, and you've got to be out there on your own, because that's the best place to be.
Does it sit in the back of your mind, sort of when you're creating your music, not to fall into the same sort of boring traps that past Australian rock bands might have fallen into?
You know, when it comes to second and third records, I mean, I think that we're really conscious of the fact that we don't really want to make the same record twice. And our songwriting, we always try and challenge ourselves to step outside of the box. I mean, I think that's the biggest. I reckon one of the biggest things with writing and being in a band is that you need to challenge yourself. And if you're not being challenged and you're not uncomfortable and you're not outside of your comfort zone, then you're just going to make the same record over again. You're going to get comfortable with what you're doing, and you've got to challenge yourself constantly and feel uncomfortable. And uncomfortable is good, you know. So that's where we aim to sit on every single record. So I'm going to be a screaming mess by the end of this one as well as the first one, you know. But yeah, you know, I think that's where a lot of bands tend to fall down that road. Is make the same record over again, and fans have, you know, already heard it. You know, just got to keep it going. So
you mentioned that you're driving to Western Australia.
Yes.
So how's that going to go?
It's going to be awesome. I mean, we're really excited about it. I mean, we got a van, and we bought a van about probably 6 to 8 months ago now, and yeah, I mean, we've decked it out, we've got it tinted, and like all so the sun's not so piercing coming through. We can sleep in there, the aircon's cranking, and you know, we've kind of we're really at home in the van now, and we toured a lot, last year. And we're used to being on the road, and we're used to being in the van. And only 5 dudes driving from, it doesn't really matter. I mean, we're chopping it up into 3 days of driving to WA, but it doesn't really matter if you're driving to Melbourne or not. It's pretty much just 3 Melbourne drives or something like that. And it's going to be places we haven't seen before, and we're taking a film crew with us, and they're going to film it. And there's a lot of history on those roads, especially from AC/DC, like High Road Hell, So we're stoked to be doing it. A lot of people think we're fucking stupid, but.
So who's the biggest pain in the ass to travel with out of the band?
It's funny, because everybody's mannerisms get on everybody's nerves. So by the end of it doesn't matter if you're like the most plainest person, you'll still notice tiny little things that piss you off, But you learn that everybody pays each other out, and everybody will go, that's funny, but majority of the time we're just having a good time. We're just joking and talking shit the whole time.
So what was playing on the trip from Adelaide to Melbourne this afternoon?
Oh my god, I was asleep for most of it actually. So I did wake up and we were spinning the new Bronx record a little bit. Someone put on the new Biffy Clyro. Is it Clyro? Clyro. Yeah, Biffy Clyro. That was cool. What else? We played. There was a Prom Scream played. I think that's all I can remember at the moment. So I was asleep for most of it. But.
So you've done the Sydney to Melbourne leg so much. What's your favourite place to stop along the Hume Highway?
Fucking none of them.
Any bad truck stop stories or?
No, we haven't. I mean, we've had some crazy trucks, do stupid shit. They cut us off or they speed in front of us, and they'll speed up when we're overtaking, all that sort of shit, or flash us. But I don't know. Probably our favourite place to stop. There's a pub just outside of Yass, and you drive down. As we're driving down towards it, there's a really nice pub on the left. And they've got their own port there. Like they make their own port. It's pretty cool. There's a really nice pub there. Everybody's always stopped for beers. Yeah.
Oh well, thanks for taking the time to speak
to
AMH TV tonight, and hopefully you have a great show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us. Cheers.
I would do anything to find some relief.